I have been staring at these incredible slabs of Imperial and Orbicular Jasper for weeks, just waiting for the perfect moment to cut them. And I think today is finally the day. In this video, I'm going to find out if the beauty on the outside goes all the way through. I'll show you my game plan for the cuts, and then we'll fire up the Lapidary saw and find out what patterns pop out. This is one of the Orbicular Jaspers that I have, and it's a showstopper. This is a very fine jasper, and what makes it so special are these stunning orb-like patterns. They can be all different types of colors and patterns. It's really one of my favorite jaspers to work with. This one is just fun. The defining feature is, of course, the orbs. These patterns are created as silica-rich material from volcanic flows cools and solidifies, causing minerals to crystallize in these amazing concentric layers. Every slice is totally unique. The slab has a wonderful mix of orbs popping out against the background, creating this really bold, high-contrast look. I've been turning this thing over and over for weeks, trying to figure out the best way to show off these circles. This is the piece I'm most excited about. This is Imperial Jasper, and it has these gorgeous, soft pastel and black colors that run through it. I've been saving this slab, partially because I'm waiting for the right time when I have the vision to cut it, and partially because I am scared to cut it. This one was given to me as a gift from a friend at my club. I mean, look at this thing. It's so beautiful as a slab on its own. It's known for these deep, striking colors that create these beautiful patterns. What I really love about this particular slab is the subtleness of the banding. I'm really hoping I can capture that grading in the cabochons, and I'm hoping to capture some of that rough edging. When polished correctly, this material can take on a stunning shine, so my hopes are pretty high for the finish. Now for the Orbicular Jasper. With these ones, I've already marked them off screen, and my idea was isolating these incredible orbs. There's a fantastic cluster of large orbs right here, and I think it would make an amazing focal point for a ring. I drew my circles around them, making sure to center the pattern. Then there's a section with dozens of smaller poppy-style orbs. Some of them look like tiny planets, and the other ones look like flowers to me. And my goal here is to make those orbs the absolute star of the show. Just like before, I'm marking everything carefully and double-checking for any flaws to cut around. So this is probably the most important part of the whole process, planning your cuts. If you rush this part, you risk wasting the best features of the stone. So I always try to take my time. I'm looking at the Imperial Jasper first. I can see a few faint hairline cracks over here and the rough edging in the corner. So I'm going to try to avoid the cracks and softer spots of the stone. The absolute best part of the slab is its river of soft green running through the middle. My vision here is to create a large freeform pendant that really follows that flow. I think I want to avoid simple shapes for this one and try something wacky to show off its colors. I also want to avoid completely horizontal and vertical lines to give it a little bit more interesting pattern and flow. Okay, now that our plan is drawn out, it's time to head over to the saw. This here is a 10-inch lapidary saw. It uses a diamond-coated blade and a water reservoir that continuously flows over the blade and stone. The water acts as both a coolant and a lubricant and traps much of the harmful dust emitted from the stone while cutting. I'm holding the stone firmly and lining up the blade with my marked lines. The trick here is to go slow and steady. You don't force the stone into the blade. You just let the saw do all the work. I'm applying a gentle, consistent pressure and letting the blade grind its way through. You can see the water splashing around, carrying away all that rock dust. I'm keeping a close eye on the cut, making sure I'm staying on the line. This is a point of no return, so you really want to make sure you're happy with everything before you continue. We have our rough cuts. Now the real artistry begins. It's time to take these jagged pieces over to the cabbing machine to shape and polish them into gems. This is my favorite part of the entire process, the cabbing machine. This is where we turn these rough preforms into smooth, domed cabochon. A cabochon, or a cab, is a gemstone that's been shaped and polished to have a flat back and a rounded top. My machine here has a series of wheels going from very coarse for heavy grinding to very fine for smoothing and polishing. Just like with the saw, water is absolutely essential. It keeps the stone cool and washes away all the grinding mud. I'm also using a dop stick here. I've used some wax to glue the stone to the stick, which lets me hold and control it safely and precisely. I'm starting on the 80 grit wheel. This wheel removes material the fastest. The first job of this wheel is to grind away the jagged saw marks and establish the final outline. Then, I'll start shaping the dome. I held the stone at a 45-degree angle to create a bevel. Then I start rocking the stone back and forth in a W motion to create that nice curved dome. The key is to keep the stone moving constantly to avoid creating any flat surfaces. Now that we have the basic shape, I dry it off for closer inspection before moving on to the next wheel. I'm looking for any deep scratches left by the 80 grit wheel. You have to get rid of all the scratches from one wheel before moving to the next. If you don't remove them, they will haunt you afterwards and you'll never be able to remove them. The shape is starting to look good, so it's time to move to the 220 grit wheel. This step is all about refining the shape and smoothing out the surface. The process is the same the entire way. Keep it moving, rock it in a W, and focus on creating a smooth dome. After the 22 grit wheel, I'll move down the line to the 280 grit and the 600 grit wheel. With each step, the stone surface gets smoother and smoother. The process is repetitive, for sure, but it's also incredibly meditative as you reveal the stone's final form. After the 280 grit wheel, the Imperial Jasper is super smooth to the touch and it already has a soft matte sheen. Now that the shaping is done, it's time for some magic. All the work of grinding and cutting leads to this moment where you bring out the ultimate shine. The right side wheels on the machine use softer polishing pads to bring out the full shine. This 1200 grit wheel smooths the surface even further and removes any fine scratches left behind by the 600 grit wheel. It starts to bring out a really noticeable satiny luster on the stone. I'm still keeping the stone moving in a constant motion, making sure every part of the dome makes even contact. Before the final polish, I give the cabochon a thorough cleaning. You want to be absolutely sure that there isn't a single speck of grit left over from the previous stages that could get on the final pad and ruin your finish with a large scratch. For the final step, you use very little pressure. Just like the saw, you let the stone graze across the surface of the polishing pad. You can feel the stone start to drag just a little as the polish starts to take hold. I continue to work the pad for a few minutes, hitting the entire surface of the dome. And now, the moment of truth. Let's wipe it clean and look at that. A perfect glassy mirror shine. From rust, dusty slabs to finished gleaming gemstones, look at the beautiful, gentle flow of color in this jasper. The Orbicular Jasper ovals came out just as stunning. And these little cabochons have so much depth and detail. There were some cracks inside the Orbicular Jasper that made it very difficult to get a perfectly round edge. But I'm alright with that. I actually think it adds a little bit more character to it. Not everything needs to be perfect. As long as you think it's beautiful, it's fine. I'm really happy with how this Jasper came out. I wish the banding went a little bit deeper, but I really like the spot on the corner. I was hoping the bands went a little bit deeper or a little bit rich, but half of the slab that I had very dull banding anyways. I think this would make a beautiful ring. And now finally the large piece of Imperial Jasper. I tried to keep that rough in, and I think it looks really nice. Unfortunately, the camera can't pick up the banding as well, but it's extremely vibrant in person. Very happy with this. I kind of wish that I sawed a hole into it so I could bail it very easy, but I think this is going to look beautiful with a silver bezel. Taking a raw stone and revealing the beauty hidden inside has to be one of the most satisfying things you can do. It's a process that definitely takes patience, but as you can see, the results are incredibly worth it. Each of these stones is completely one of a kind and something that you can't easily buy from a store. Thank you all so much for joining me in another day at the workshop. I really hope you enjoyed this series and seeing the whole process from start to finish. Now I have a question for you. What would you make with these finished stones? A pendant, a ring, some earrings, or something else entirely different? Let me know your creative ideas in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Thanks again for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.